Honestly, guys, this sprue putty stuff is really tricky. I mean, look at that. It's stretchy when it's not dry, but in all honesty, after it hardens, it's basically as good as regular sprue. The only problem is probably all them air bubbles that get into it. But, well, what you're gonna do, especially when you're working with no molds and basically hand sculpting everything. I made the squad of furies get all the way to 10. So I gotta do a couple of things to them to make them look more fury-er. But, well, I got 10 furies. And then in the last video we were talking about soul grinders. This is the original model. This is my Slanesh soul grinder. And second one that I made, this guy here, my first Nurgle soul grinder. Yeah, sure, he's a little beefier and the head's completely out of proportions and whatever, but you know, this was the first try. And we were talking about the other one that I was making. And so far I got this much. I mean, if we compare him to the original model, the sizes are a little closer. Sword's probably a little bigger, but that's whether you like it or not thing. But this one obviously looks a lot more nerdly. It has the belly and it's all bloated at the top. And I realized one thing, that this putty actually dries faster if you poke holes in it, because the acetone dries faster the more contact with air that it gets. And poking holes in it makes it so that the inner part of the putty actually dries a little faster too. So this is straight out of the jar. I've been kneading it for like 10 minutes, but this has been sitting out overnight. And I mean, look, it's pretty hard. But yeah, so far I've gotten this, and I'm thinking whether or not I could build the head something like this, so that it's, I don't know, like one big eye and then a big drooling mouth at the bottom or whatever, make it look all nerdy. But, well, haven't gotten to that yet. I'm still fooling around with the idea. One thing that I did decide on was that not like this one that has blades on its legs, or, well, those blades and these spikes. Well then, this one I decided that I'm going to use this plastic material that I got from the rolls of embroidery thread that I use at work, and I'm going to give it some armor. And this one and this one are the two front panels, and then these four are going to be the ones that go on the rear four legs. I thought spikes up would be okay, but now I'm thinking that spikes down is actually a better look, because that way it'll actually seem like the legs are, you know, more lethal, especially when they step on that side. The tip of the leg is here on the bottom, but I mean, having the armor like that makes it look like it could just as easily kneel down a little and spike something in front of it. But yeah, I already cut the pieces out, but I haven't worked with these yet because I still have to sand them. This plastic, I don't know if the paint will grab properly or if the glue won't grab onto the back, because I don't know if you can tell if this texture on the inside won't make it grab right. Yeah, I decided that I wanted to give this guy armor plates. But besides that, this one is starting to look a lot better. I mean, credit where credit is due. The first one was my first try, and, you know, you can't knock this guy too hard because him being the first was actually the big hurdle. But this guy is starting to look a lot like the source material, so, yeah. Besides, I like the way that this sword turned out. this arm. It was a little tricky. It was a little longer. I had to clip it in, and maybe I'm going to get a blade and cut into this and expose more of the underside and make it look more roddy, nurgly, or whatever. But yeah, this is what I got up to now. No head, but what you're going to do. The other thing is that I'm thinking, if I'm making furies so far, I could try making nurglings and see how far I can get with that, but honestly, with something that small, I'm not sure if I could get the details on them right, but I will probably try making at least one and see how that works out. But yeah, this guy, he's turning out pretty good. Let's see if I can make him look even nerdlier than this guy.